Did you know that Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders are among the fastest growing groups in the United States? And their stories have been centuries in the making. Join me as we explore objects, many of which are rarely seen by the public, collected by the largest museum, education, and research center in the world, the Smithsonian Institution.
Whoa, what is that?
Together, we'll investigate the stories behind those objects and learn how these communities continue to shape U.S. history and culture. On the morning of September 11, 2001, the world watched in horror as terrorists hijacked planes and flew them into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It was the most devastating foreign attack in recent U.S. history, and it shattered the nation's sense of security. But America's immediate response also demonstrated the country's resolve and strength in a time of adversity. Thousands of first responders and civilians rushed to aid victims of the attack, including K-9 Pentagon police officer Isaac Ho'opi'i. His actions that day would be remembered in history books and museums. Today, I'm meeting up with Cedric Ye, the National September 11th Collection Curator at the National Museum of American History. Cedric is going to share Isaac's incredible story of heroism and courage that transpired on that fateful day at the Pentagon. Cedric, what can you tell me about the National 9/11 collection?
The collection came into being when Congress made the Smithsonian the official repository for September 11th collections. Our curators focused on three main things: the attacks themselves, first responders, and the recovery effort. And that is where Isaac's uniform comes in as a first responder. This uniform belongs to Isaac Ho'opi'i. He was a Defense Department K-9 Unit Protection Services, and he was there on the September 11th attacks at the Pentagon. And he immediately went inside the building. It was burning, smoke-filled, and you could not see. And he went as far as he could and began to use his voice. He shouted out to whomever could hear him to follow his voice and come to him. Hearing his voice was incredibly important, that it brought them out into safety.
Why was it important to collect his uniform specifically?
One of the key focus points for the original collecting was first responders. I should point out that this was happening a month out, and that emotions were still very raw for the people. And it's remarkable how curators are able to work around how, the personal and professional chaos of what was going on to focus down on what kinds of stories would be able to help our visitors 10, 25 years later, better understand what was happening on that day. There was more to a story. You could, over the course of time, tell many different narratives out of this collection. Well, I've been answering your questions about Isaac and his uniform. Would you like to talk to him yourself? I've invited him to the museum today. He can provide you with his unique experiences on the day of September 11th himself.
That would be incredible. Thank you so much. It's not often you get the chance to meet the people behind the objects in the museum's collection, let alone a real-life hero. Commander Isaac Ho'opi'i's actions saved lives on September 11th when he carried those injured to safety. And his voice rescued many more from a darkened, rubble-filled corridor. But Isaac never imagined that his voice would be a beacon of hope for himself, too. Isaac, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
It's my pleasure.
Can you talk me through a little bit about what that day looked like for you?
Sure. At that time, everything was in slow motion. Once I got to the crash site, I started calling out, hey, head towards my voice. Is anybody in here? Then a couple people did say, hey, I'm over here. Then I try to get to that area, taking them out to the tree out there, ran back into the building. I don't wish for anybody to go through what I went through, but it was a blessing for me, wise, just being there to help and pull people out of the wreckage of the burning building.
How have you been able to cope with your experience since then?
During that whole 6 months, I was going to work 16 hours a day. One day I came home, and one of the biggest coping mechanisms I used was my music. I had two other guys that I played music during my whole career. They were sitting in my living room, and we played for over 12 hours just playing. That was my go-to release-wise.
That's beautiful. Was there anything you really liked to play?
You know, I'm originally from Hawaii, and we love to share the aloha spirit. Most of it is Hawaiian tradition, but also cater to what people like to hear. I don't want to say it's a gift. I think it was a blessing, because now I'm teaching the kids and the grandkids that they can pick up and start teaching and sharing the aloha spirit.
So Isaac, what role does music play in your life now?
I enjoy playing any type of music, but you know, my real love is Hawaiian music stuff. The biggest role it does for me now is teaching the culture itself, but it also, you know, reaching out to people. So I love to share the music that I do now, helping others.
Isaac, would you do me the honor of playing one of your favorite songs?
Yes. Aloha ia waia nai, e maui ka huluni, e niu kaula na o pokai, e nani ke atu.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
The events of September 11, 2001 remain etched in our collective memory, forever changing the course of history. The preservation of Isaac's story, and others from that fateful day, serves as a reminder of the unbreakable human spirit during unimaginable challenges. Through these objects, we honor the memory of those who were lost, the bravery of those who responded, and the resilience of those who survived. How can stories of resilience inspire a more compassionate and united community?